Hi guys, it's Tom Mills here from Tom Mills Drums. So I'm the Tom Mills from Tom Mills Drums that plays the drums. So today we're going to be looking at our three most important rudiments. So that word is something we're going to hear probably quite a lot learning the drums, rudiments. So there's a whole host of them that we need to learn basically, but these three are real important ones. The first three we'll ever learn, probably the most straightforward to learn, but just the ones we'll use all the time. And really, these first three, all the others come from them. So these are really important. So the first one is really what we've looked at if you've seen my other video, which is with our note value exercise. So we basically already played this, and it's called the single stroke roll. So very simply, because we're just doing single strokes on each hand. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Single strokes. And obviously if you're left-handed, you could lead with the left hand. Left, right, left. Still a single stroke roll. So with the single stroke roll, you can, relating it to our note value exercise, we can do it as 8th notes, as 16th notes, as 32nd notes. So all rudiments we can use in different note values. So for instance, here is single stroke rolls as 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and single stroke rolls as 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. So the single stroke roll, that is probably the most, well, not probably, definitely the most important rudiment that we'll learn. Okay, leading on from that, we've got the double stroke roll, which I'm sure a lot of you can guess what we're doing here. So we're doing 2 hits on each hand, 2 strokes. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left. Same thing, we can do this as 8th notes, as 16th notes, as quarter notes, triplets when we get onto those. So any sort of, excuse me, any sort of note value we can do double stroke rolls. So that is our double stroke roll. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Okay? Or you can lead with the left. Left, left, right, left, left, right, right. So those two there, really, single stroke roll, double stroke roll, singles and doubles are just so important, and you'll always practice those. So the third one is called the paradiddle. Now this basically, all this is a combination of single stroke roll, double stroke roll. We've got the first, basically the way I like to think of this is two different sides to it. We've got the right hand side of the paradiddle, that's your right, and the left hand side of the paradiddle. So the right hand side of the paradiddle, we've got right, left, right, right. So you can think of it in blocks of 4 notes like that. And then we do the same thing. So that is, to break that down, sorry, that is right, left, which is our single, and then right, right, which is our double stroke. Yeah? So that's the first side of it, the right hand side. And then we've got the mirror image of that. Single, left, right, leading with the left, and then double, left, left. And that's basically all that a paradiddle is. Single, double, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, left. Now you see, it's just a combinations of single strokes and double strokes. So it's basically comes from those two, which pretty much all the other rudiments do come out of. They're all different combinations of singles and doubles. So really, with those 3 exercises, you can do so much. and you'll always practice those. Single stroke rolls. Just every drummer uses them, they're so important. So getting them really, really on point is very, very important. Okay, so actually practicing these rudiments on the drum kit, on a snare drum or whatever you've got at home on the pad like I was doing, it's really important to play them along to a metronome or a click track, which is, now you can get one of these very easily. There's lots of apps, free apps you can get on your phone, or if you've got an electric drum kit, they'll have a metronome probably in this thing here, which is called the brain. So, or the controller, however you want to call it. So basically, a metronome or click track is beats per minute. So it's just how many beats we have against a minute. So 60 beats per minute is basically like the seconds going around.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1.
So and I always think 60 BPM is quite a good starting tempo for a lot of things when you're beginning to learn the drums. So let's take 60 BPM and let's try and practice these rudiments. So we're going to do them as eighth notes. So this count here is our quarter note.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
That's 60 beats per minute. You can get different counts. So you could have the eighth note count as well.
1 and 2 and 3.
So it's really down to you. I think to begin with, we'll just do the quarter note count. So against that, we're going to try and do our single stroke roll. So it's always good to give yourself a count in as well, I think.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We go
1, 2, 3, 4.
and so on. So practicing it along with the click track is really important because it gets your timing improved, because this is always going to be exactly to the right tempo, isn't it? So if you can work with the metronome as much as you can, it just gets your timing and your positioning of notes really, really, really consistent. Because the idea is that we're obviously a human. This thing is a robot. Well, not quite a robot, but a computer. So it's always going to be right. We're humans, so we're not always going to be bang on, and we don't always want to be. But the more we use a metronome, the more our internal metronome improves, which I think is really important. So when you're playing without a metronome, your timing is that much better. So that's your single strokes to the metronome at 60 beats per minute. And it's really important here not to start off too fast, to practice it nice and slow and then slowly speed up as you feel comfortable. So let's try double strokes at the same tempo.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2.
So that was our double strokes. As eighth notes, remember we're doing 2 hits on each hand. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. And also important here to remember that you can reverse these rudiments as well. You can practice them leading with the left hand if you want. Like I was saying earlier, left with singles or doubles. Totally up to you. Okay, and then leading on from there, we've got our paradiddle with the click track.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, so that's really good to practice with that metronome. One other exercise that's really great with these rudiments is to put a foot pad underneath it. So what we're doing there is we're doing quarter notes between the bass drum and the left foot hi-hat pedal. So that'll be with these clicks, because they're quarter notes, aren't they? 1, 2, 3, 4. So the feet are going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. When we're doing single strokes with the feet, all the right hands are getting alternate bass drum or left foot. Because it's bass drum, left foot, bass drum, left. So these feet are landing with the right hands, aren't they? Bass drum, left foot, bass drum, left foot. So I would get your head around those individually. Then with the double strokes, it's usually a little bit easier because each side of the body's working together. You've got a bass drum with the first right of the two rights double strokes, and then left foot with the two left double strokes. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. So kind of the body is working together there. And then the paradiddle, which is slightly more difficult. Again, what I would suggest is cutting it into two sections. So you've got the first 4 hits, right, left, right, right. You've got a bass drum on the first right, and then a left foot on the first of the 2 rights. Bass drum, left foot. Again, bass drum, left foot. So get that side of it, and then get the left hand side, which is left, right, left, left. So you've got bass drum on the first left, right on its own, and then a left foot with the first of the 2 lefts. Left, right, left, left. And again, left, right, left, left. And then try and put the 2 together. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. And then once you've got that sort of in your head, then try and do it around and around. The good thing about doing the rudiments with the feet is obviously it brings the feet in, and it kind of keeps you in your body in time with itself, because your hands are playing and your feet are playing. So and also if you're playing with a metronome, you're sort of keeping in time with yourself, which is quite a good exercise, I find. That is our 3 most important rudiments. So go away, have a practice of those. Remember, not too fast, try it with a metronome, and try and bring in those feet. Okay, thanks a lot, and tune in next time. Bye.